So first things first is I'm going to be using my turpentine and my burnt sienna for the underpainting. So there are a lot of little specks, which I'm leaving canvas white. So I'm going to change brushes so that I can do that a little bit better. So just a little bit of Gamsol, and then my burnt sienna. Now you don't want to rush this and get too impatient, because then you'll miss all of the detail. And what's great is, since you've got only a 2" by 2" square that you're looking at, hopefully your attention won't be pulled too far away too often, because this is a slow process over the course of a few days. If it helps to think of this assignment as though you were layering sheets of transparent or translucent paper, basically that's what you're doing, but instead of actual physical layers of paper, you're letting one layer dry and then you're coming back on top of that last layer with another thin layer. So you're building up these layers so that when they all compress together, you have this really intricate painting. Okay, now that that first layer is dry, I'm going to go back on top of it with a new layer, and now I'm going to start adding actual color. But I don't want it to just be a Gamsol mix. Now I'm going to lessen the Gamsol because Gamsol makes it really watery, and as I move from the bottom layer up to the top layer, I want to lessen how watery it is and add more pigment to make it thicker. So I'm not going to use hardly any Gamsol, and I'm going to use a little bit more of the liquid linseed oil mixture. That's not to say that I don't have any Gamsol in my mixture, it's just less than it was for this first layer. So the layer that you're putting on now should be a translucent layer of color rather than just the burnt umber or sienna. And again, I used burnt sienna because my local color was red. If your local color is a green or a blue, it might be better to use the burnt umber. Now I'm still leaving my whites white. My little white spots that bleed through, I'm leaving them white for now. So you're basically just going over whatever you did in that first layer, but this time you're using less Gamsol and more of the liquid linseed oil. So I'm just going to leave that there to dry, and once it's completely dry, I'll start on the next layer. Okay, now that that second layer is dry, I'm going to go back on top of those two layers with a new layer, this time even less of the Gamsol, if at all, and more of the liquid and linseed oil. So I'm noticing that underneath these little white specks, there is kind of a U shape of red. So where needed, I'm going to go underneath each one of those and add that. And then what I also noticed is that on top of these little white specks, there is a dark red. So I'm going to add that in. Now I'm going to let that light layer dry.